Imagine building a company worth more than $5 trillion. More valuable than Apple. More valuable than Microsoft. A company that earns nearly $20 million every single hour. Now imagine it almost died before selling its first successful product. This is the story of NVIDIA, and the man who refused to quit, Jensen Huang. Today, NVIDIA powers artificial intelligence, video games, self-driving cars, supercomputers, scientific research, and many of the apps you use every day. But none of that seemed possible in the beginning. Jensen Huang was born in Taiwan in 1963. When he was only 9 years old, his parents sent him and his older brother to the United States. They wanted a better future for their children. The plan sounded simple. Study hard, work hard, build a successful life. Instead, Jensen arrived at a strict boarding school in Kentucky, called Juanita Baptist Institute. Life there wasn't easy. Students cleaned bathrooms, worked long hours, followed strict discipline. For a young boy living thousands of miles from home, it was overwhelming. But the experience taught him something that would define his entire career. When life becomes difficult, you adapt, or you disappear. Years later, Jensen graduated from Oregon State University before earning a master's degree from Stanford. He entered the semiconductor industry, working first at AMD, then at LSI Logic. Day after day, he became obsessed with one question: how could computer chips become dramatically more powerful? By the early 1990s, personal computers were changing quickly. Video games were becoming more realistic. 3-dimensional graphics demanded enormous computing power. Most people believed the CPU would simply keep getting faster. Jensen disagreed. He believed graphics required an entirely different kind of processor, one built specifically for parallel calculations. In 1992, he shared the idea with two fellow engineers inside a Denny's restaurant. Over cheap coffee, they discussed quitting stable careers to start a new company. The idea sounded risky. The market barely existed. Most investors weren't interested, but they believed graphics would become the future of computing. So they took the leap. The company was called NVIDIA. Their mission was ambitious. Design one universal graphics processor capable of transforming computer graphics forever. For nearly 2 years, the small team worked non-stop. Every dollar they had went into developing their first product. Then, in 1995, they launched the NV1. It was supposed to change everything. Instead, it failed just before release. Microsoft introduced DirectX. The gaming industry adopted triangle-based graphics. Unfortunately, the NV1 had been designed around an entirely different rendering method. Almost overnight, their technology became obsolete. Years of work, millions of dollars, and countless sleepless nights had produced a chip built for a future that no longer existed. The company stood on the edge of bankruptcy. Fortunately, one opportunity remained. Sega had hired NVIDIA to build graphics hardware for its next-generation console. The contract was worth millions. It could save the company. There was just one problem. Sega's project depended on the same outdated technology. Completing the contract would consume valuable time while producing another obsolete chip. Jensen faced an impossible decision. Finish the project, or abandon the company's only major customer. He chose the harder path. Jensen flew to Japan. He met directly with Sega executives. Instead of pretending everything was fine, he told them the truth. The technology wouldn't survive. The contract should be canceled. Then he made one final request. Instead of paying NVIDIA to finish the project, invest the remaining $5 million directly into the company. There was no guarantee, no collateral, only honesty. Several days later, Sega agreed. That investment bought NVIDIA 6 more months. It was their final chance. The team started over completely. Every engineer focused on building the right chip. The result became the Riva 128. Unlike its predecessor, This graphics processor fully supported Microsoft's DirectX standard. It launched in 1997. This time, customers loved it. Developers embraced it. More than 1 million units sold within only 4 months. NVIDIA had survived. Most founders would have celebrated. Jensen didn't. Instead, he returned to work immediately. In 1999, NVIDIA introduced another breakthrough, the GeForce 256. For the first time, NVIDIA was no longer just a gaming company. It had become the foundation of modern artificial intelligence. As AI expanded, so did NVIDIA. Data centers filled with thousands of GPUs, every major language model required enormous computing power. Every breakthrough demanded even more chips. But new challenges appeared. NVIDIA designed its processors. It didn't manufacture them. Production depended heavily on Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC. Even more importantly, NVIDIA didn't own the processor architecture, powering billions of mobile devices. That technology belonged to ARM. In 2020, Jensen attempted to solve both problems. NVIDIA offered $40 billion to acquire ARM. The acquisition would transform NVIDIA into one of the most powerful technology companies ever created. Competitors immediately objected. Governments launched investigations. Regulators argued the acquisition threatened fair competition. After 18 months, the deal collapsed. Every major breakthrough began as an unpopular idea. Building GPUs for gaming, creating CUDA, investing hundreds of millions into researchers, betting on artificial intelligence years before anyone else believed. Each decision looked irrational, until it worked. Looking back, NVIDIA's greatest advantage wasn't technology alone. It was Jensen Huang's willingness to survive long enough for impossible ideas to become obvious. As Jensen himself once said, "My will to survive exceeds everybody else's will to kill me." And perhaps that determination became NVIDIA's greatest invention of all.